Basically, we'll talk about carbon dioxide as one of the greenhouse gases emitted into the atmosphere that cause the greenhouse effect as global warming or climatic change. So basically, we'll talk about the sources in which carbon dioxide is being formed. So how do we get this natural gas called carbon dioxide? You see, basically, there are sources in which carbon dioxide is being formed. One of the sources is called the fossil fuel, from the hydrocarbon. So another source is deforestation from the clearing of the plants for commercial reasons of urbanization. Equally, from the decomposed organisms that have been the remains of the organisms that have died, they release oxygen, they release carbon dioxide, a whole lot of substances are released from the remains of decomposed organisms. So another is from the soil, another sources, from reactions of chemical substances in the atmosphere. So basically, we will emphasize carbon dioxide that is formed through what do you call it, hydrocarbons. So basically, hydrocarbons are formed from organic matter that are buried under layers of sediments and subjected to heat and pressure over millions of years. The process of hydrocarbon formation involves biological activities. Organic matter like plants and animals remains is converted into kerogens, and these kerogens the first stage of hydrocarbon formation. So what I mean is that these organisms that are died for millions of years are formed in a shell of the soil. You see, so they form in the shell of the soil and they are found in the layers of the rock, like the sedimentary rock, the igneous rock, the salt rock, a whole lot of rocks. So these organisms are organisms that have died, especially the marine organisms that have died for millions of years. It takes a whole lot of processes in which this hydrocarbon is formed in the soil because of the chemical processes in the soil, the biological activities that take place in the soil, and you see, and it's formed based on the layers of soil, and they undergo, a whole lot of degradation, and the remains of these organic organisms, organic matter like the plants and the animals that died over years decompose and undergo a whole lot of chemical processes, biological processes, where they decompose and form hydrocarbon and the strata, and the hydrocarbon is formed in different stages, and some of the stages are called thermal degradation, So the kerosene is broken down into hydrocarbon chains through a process called the catalysis. The catalysis is the process in which the kerosene is broken down into hydrocarbon chains through a process called the catalysis. So, and another process is called the cracking of the process. And heavy hydrocarbon molecules are broken up into lighter molecules, broken down into lighter molecules. So this is called cracking. In the process, they have another one is called the migration. The hydrocarbon moves from source rock to permeable carriers bed and then to reservoir beds. So these are processes in which hydrocarbon is being formed. There are another process in which hydrocarbon is being formed, which I don't want to mention. I will only emphasize on this. So that we will go to carbon dioxide as one of the greenhouse gases that are formed through the hydrocarbon. So basically, carbon dioxide is formed through hydrocarbon combustion, referred to the chemical reaction where hydrocarbon reacts with oxygen to create carbon dioxide, water, and heat. Hydrocarbons are molecules consisting of both hydrogen and carbon. They are mostly famous for being the primary constituent of fossil fuel. namely natural gas, petroleum, and coal. For this reason, fossil fuel resources are often referred to hydrocarbon resources. So energy is obtained from combustion in the primary process in the burning of fossil fuel. Any example of hydrocarbon combustion, I can equally illustrate a good example of hydrocarbon combustion. Maybe you did not understand it properly, so let me keep my camera properly so that I can illustrate, I can focus the camera, you understand me properly. So methane is combined, that is the molecules of combined with two molecules of oxygen to form carbon dioxide, water, and heat. So this combustion is called this combination of chemicals, of substances, of elements, of bonds is called combustion. So regardless of the type of hydrocarbon combustion, when oxygen reacts with hydrocarbon, it produces three elements called the carbon dioxide. This is compounds, produces compound, the carbon dioxide, water, and heat. As I've earlier illustrated, the energy required to break the bonds of the hydrocarbon, the energy required to break the bond of hydrocarbon molecules is substantially less than the energy released in the formation of the bonds in CO2s and H2O molecules. For this reason, the process releases significant amount of thermal energy, that's the heat energy. This thermal energy can be used directly, that is for home. It can be used at home for domestic use, or this thermal energy can be converted to mechanical energy. Yes, the thermal energy can be converted to mechanical energy using a heat engine. However, this is subject to efficiency losses, resulting into necessary significant energy losses as waste heat. This is just governed by the secondary law of thermodynamics. So obviously, we won't emphasize on the engineering aspect of this discussion and conversion of thermal energy to mechanical energy. These are the engineering aspect of it. What we want to discuss today is the carbon dioxide emission into the atmosphere and how it constitutes hazard to human existence and to our environment. What we call the greenhouse effect. So, and what the greenhouse effect is equally called the climatic change. It's equally called the global warming, how it's related to global warming. So carbon dioxide, that's CO2, by definition, is a colorless gas having a faint sharp odor and a sour taste. It is one of the most important greenhouse gases linked to global warming, but it is minor component of Earth's atmosphere. About 3 volumes in 10,000 formed in combustion of carbon-containing materials. The carbon dioxide can be formed through the process of fermentation, and it can be formed through the process of animal respiration. And green plants use carbon dioxide for photosynthesis of carbohydrates. So carbon dioxide can be formed through a whole lot of processes. Even the natural soil equally give up substances, carbon dioxide and all that. So a whole lot of processes where carbon dioxide is being formed. So the presence of this gas in the atmosphere keep some of the radiant energy received by the Earth from being returned to the space. As I earlier said, the infrared that is received, infrared radiation that is being received as it hits the Earth's surface, the Earth crust, as it returns back, the atmosphere is always very volatile and in dynamic state. So as this radiant energy returns to the atmosphere, while it is trapped, it is absorbed by carbon dioxide, and the carbon dioxide returns it re-radiated back to the atmosphere, to the surface of the Earth, to the biosphere, lithosphere, to the Earth crust, I mean, to the surface of the Earth. And as a result of that, this is just like a continuous process. And when this continues over time, you see that it will lead to global warming. It will lead to greenhouse effect because of this cyclic chain. The carbon dioxide returns back to the atmosphere, and as the heat radiant energy returns back to the atmosphere, I mean the infrared, the carbon dioxide re-radiated back to the surface of the Earth. So that is why carbon dioxide is regarded as greenhouse gas, because it does not absorb and retain and transmit it back and emit it back to the space. It emits it back to the surface of the Earth. So it's like a cyclic movement. When the infrared hits the surface of the Earth, carbon dioxide, as it returns to the atmosphere, carbon dioxide absorbs it and re-radiate it back to the surface of the Earth. So that is the effect of greenhouse. That is a great effect, the greenhouse effect I'm talking about. So basically, as I rightly pointed out, the presence of this gas in the atmosphere keeps some of the radiant energy received by Earth from being returned to space, thus producing a greenhouse effect. I've said it over and over. I want you to understand it because this is a summary of my discussion today. But industrially, it is recovered for numerous devices. So application from flue gases as a byproduct of preparing of hydrogen for synthesis of ammonia from limekins and from other sources. You see, so we will talk about some of the substances, some of the sources in which carbon dioxide is being emitted into the atmosphere. So I've mentioned the fossil fuel, I've mentioned the deforestation, so I've mentioned other hydrocarbon resources that are the coal, the natural gas, and which I've mentioned earlier, the fossil fuel. So we will talk about some of the CO2s emitted from the production of about 293.1 kilowatts per hour of energy from various hydrocarbon fuels. That's about in British thermal unit. It is about 1 million British thermal unit. If you convert it to British thermal unit, 293.1 kilowatts per hour. When you convert it to British thermal units, it is about 1 million British thermal units. So of energy from various hydrocarbon fuel. That is, I mean, the carbon dioxide emitted into the atmosphere. So there are other sources that emit carbon dioxide. That is the other fuel that emit carbon dioxide. That is from the coal. We have the anthracite coal, which emits about 104 kilograms of CO2 being emitted into the atmosphere from anthracite coal. The bituminous coal, about 93.5, has been emitted into the atmosphere after critical analysis of this emission from these gases. So we have the lignite coal, about 97.9 kilogram of CO2 emitted into the atmosphere. So we have the bituminous coal, about 97.4 kilogram of carbon dioxide that is being emitted into the atmosphere. It's huge anyway. So like other petroleum products like diesel, the ones I've mentioned above is one of the hydrocarbon products called coal. Is one of the hydrocarbon products too. But now we want to talk about the petroleum products like the diesel, the byproduct of petroleum product like diesel, like gasoline, the propane. And these are substances like the natural gas. These are substances that emit carbon dioxide into the atmosphere. Like diesel emits about 73.2 kilogram of carbon dioxide, CO2, into the atmosphere. The gasoline emits about 71.5 kilogram of gasoline of carbon dioxide into the atmosphere. The propane emits about 63.2 kilogram of carbon dioxide into atmosphere. The natural gas emits like 53.2 kilogram of CO2 into the atmosphere. So basically, there are other sources in which carbon dioxide is being emitted into the atmosphere. You see, it's not only deforestation, it's not only through burning, through combustion, and even the vehicles we use at home emit, when this gasoline is being used and is broken down into other components, other elements, is being emitted into the atmosphere, like carbon monoxide is being emitted as a result of usage of gasoline. So the engine uses this gasoline, and the process of using this gasoline in the engine, carbon monoxide is being converted. And carbon monoxide is one of the pollutant substances in the atmosphere, one of the gas in the atmosphere that pollutes the atmosphere and cause harm to human existence, cause harm to the respiratory system, cause harm to the atmosphere, cause harm to all biolives, so all bio-existing organisms. So carbon dioxide, the carbon monoxide is very harmful. Propane is equally emitted into the atmosphere, as I earlier said. Even sulfur is being emitted in the process of gasoline and diesel they produce when they use in the engines, in the cars. Sulfur is being released to the atmosphere. You see, in the process of fractional distillation in the oil industry, as a result, fractional distillation is a process in which the mixture, which is the crude oil or hydrocarbon, is being subjected into heat energy, and by temperature variation, the substances are being separated based on temperature. You see, that's the simple definition of fractional distillation. The substances are being separated, are being separated in fractions, based on their temperature, based on density, based on the weight. The lighter we emit, we evaporate, we leave, we separate, and behavior based on temperature variation. The ones that have a very light, very small light temperature density, we evaporate, and the behavior ones will remain, Over time, there will be separation, continuous separation until they are separated. Impurities are found during this fractional distillation. Not only carbon, there are other impurities that are found, some other gases that are other impurities, are found during the fractional distillation that are found, they are emitted into the atmosphere. You see, not only carbon dioxide that cause harm to the atmosphere, even some of these gases that have been produced during the fractional distillation, like the nitrogen, like the H2S, sulfur, H2S, hydrogen sulfide, and other gases that are very harmful to human existence. Nitrogen reacts in the atmosphere with oxygen. The nitrogen oxide reacts with oxygen, and nitrogen reacts in the atmosphere, and they form nitrate. And this nitrate is the cause of acid rain. Nitrate reacts again with oxygen, they form nitric acid. So this process in the atmosphere, this chemical reaction in the atmosphere, constitute harm to human existence. This nitric acid is very harmful to human existence. Anything called the biolife, the aerobic organisms that depend on respiration. The acid rain is very harmful to all the organisms, all the biolife, all the organisms that depend on respiratory system. They are all affected. Not even only organisms, even our building roofs are being affected as a result of acid rain from the nitric acid. So a whole lot of substances that are being released into the atmosphere that cause harm. It's not only from the oil industry, I said agricultural industry, the manufacturing industry that manufacture a whole lot of chemicals for refrigeration, a whole chemical for cooling of the rooms, like the AC, like the refrigerator, for preservation of our raw materials and preservation of our food, a whole lot of substances that they produce for beverages, for other substances, for beautification. Those substances sometimes constitute what we call the CFC gas, like the one they use in refrigerator and the one they use in AC, air condition. It's called, they previously they used what we call chlorofluorocarbons. No, chlorofluorocarbons are CFCs. And now I was informed that AC, they are using hydrofluorocarbons. Hydrofluorocarbons is not harmful, but chlorofluorocarbon, the chlorine, is very harmful. The fluorine is very harmful. All the substances that are associated to CFCs are very harmful to the atmosphere. These substances destroy the ozone layer. As I rightly pointed out, the ozone layer is just 3 molecules of oxygen. Oxygen gave out, distributed 1 molecule, and that molecule later reacted with oxygen again to form additional molecule to form 3 molecules of oxygen, which is called the ozone. So this ozone form a layer, you see, in the atmosphere, a protective layer that shield the earth. So this layer is being pitted by these substances we use, especially the CFCs, substances like chlorofluorocarbons. This substance is very, very harmful, depletes ozone. It's very harmful and it depletes ozone. And when the ozone is being depleted, it's creating depletion. And we are having ultraviolet rays of the sun, ultraviolet rays of the sun. The radiant energy is so intense, the intensity is so high. Ultraviolet rays of the sun is coming directly to the earth's surface, and organisms are being affected. Even our structures are being affected because they are subjected to high intensity of heat. Some of these organisms cannot withstand high intensity of heat. It is really, affecting lives, affecting our health. Skin cancer, because high intensity of the radiant energy, the ultraviolet rays of the sun is getting directly to the surface of the earth, and it's really affecting us. Because of pollution, because of nitric acid, the acid rain, we are being affected. The respiratory system, we're having health challenges. If you go to hospitals in Africa, you will understand that a whole lot of health challenges, respiratory issues, lung problems, the kidney, all the internal organs have been affected as a result of this soot from the carbon. From the hydrocarbon, the soot from the hydrocarbon is really affecting us. Everybody is having one problem or the other as a result of the soot in the atmosphere. So we are highly affected as a result of this climate change. So we want the international communities, we want the government of the United States to look into this objectively and let the President Donald Trump that have withdrawn from the agreement in Paris to look into his executive order, executive actions they are taking, and consider the African nations that cannot be able to develop technologies that will be able to combat this climate change. If you go to various hospitals in Nigeria and Africa, you will see people with skin diseases, respiratory diseases, a whole lot of diseases that they are facing as a result of climate change. If you go to other countries in Asia, you will see the same thing they are affecting, because these are developing countries that cannot combat this climate change. They cannot combat the effect of the climate change. So they are highly affected. I know in the Western world, a lot of people are affected because of the climate change. So we will tell the President, Donald Trump, to please look into it objectively. As a dynamic and vibrant president, we all know him, that he will make impact in America. He should look at it objectively and reverse his executive order, so that internationally we will fight the climatic change objectively, as America has been one of the champions of climatic changes and global warming. I know America cannot pull out from this climatic change combat. America will not pull out. I know that in the nearest future, that President Donald Trump, by the special grace of God, as a Christian, he will look into it again, religiously, and look into it professionally, look into it again administratively, and reverse this decision he have taken, regardless of the trillions they have spent on climate change, which you have mentioned. So I'll beg, please, look into it objectively and reverse this decision taking, so that we all keep the entire globe, the entire universe safe for ourselves and for our future generation. Thank you. Let's save the world. Let's save the world. Thank you.